No, I'm telling you, I need a co-host for the show. I need an XO for the Discord.
So this is how bad I have failed this evening's throws for mind control. Dum 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 da da dum da da dum da da dum dum da da. Dum dum da dum. It's that bad. And whoosh.
Whoosh, whoosh. Today's one of the ones they might kill me for. So we're going to get the savings throws against the mind control out the way. You're going to need them. You're going to need them. You get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart as the basis for your savings throw. I roll the dice. If they're over 10, you take half damage from the mind control that follows in the rest of the show. And this is the only place I know that gives you such a savings throw. The rest just spew their mind control right over you. So here's your save: survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Choose.
No.
No, no, no.
No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, no.
No, not at all.
No, no, no.
Right?
No. I mean, nobody's sort of.
All right, you picked now, right? I gave you enough time to pick survival, social, wisdom, or heart. Now you choose. Survivalist with the 19. 19, you're going to do just fine. Just fine. Socialists, on the other hand, that's a nat 1. Your bonuses do not apply. You're taking full damage today. Lovers of wisdom, like our friend Verveki with a 6, he better bring his bonuses. Rock on, fella. Rock on, fella. And the heart, folks, a 14. 14. It's like 2 fully aligned sets of chakras, all lime green. Indigo, kids. Prime 19. You're doing great. Welcome, everybody. This is a Grimgriz stream. We're calling it Wake, Churn, and Distillate. And also Saint Grassy the Gnoll. If you'd like to play our new fancy Saint Grassy the Gnoll game, all you got to do is take this copy paste. I'm putting a copy pasta in the chat here. You feed this to your AI art slave and see what grassy knoll comes out for you. What a grassy knoll. Oh, wait. And now let's take the train on into the show. No, save the train.
Remember, embody. I gotta get some of Grizz's branding in here.
We want what's best for you. Remember, there is no agency. And also, remember, embody. Remember to embody.
You know, this vague accent that Grim has. You know, maybe he's been sent from Russia to America to colonize me personally. Maybe Grim Grizz is Putin's tool to get under my skin, and now that he's become my favorite YouTube channel, it's happening. Remember, embody. Remember, embody. We want what's best for you, and your body wants what's best for you.
Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
Trust the facts. Remember, embody.
Don't have gratitude unless you remember, embody it. There is no agency. We want what's best for you.
Please do.
Remember, embody. We want what's best for you. The remember, embody, participation and virtually not alone. I mean, these are the things of Grizz's channel are really central to this. Grim Grizz channel. The heart of the Grim Grizz channel is virtually not alone. Remember, embody, there is no agency. The
heart of the Grim Grizz channel is about the question and anxiety of life being wasted in union with machines instead of other real human beings. That's the heart of your channel, Grizz. That's the heart of your channel. And it comes out of, very clearly, the pain that many people are growing up being parented by machines and not by their biological parents.
Hey, thanks for Kyle for that one. Welcome, everybody. This is Wake Churn Distillate. I'm a captain of a ship. Just sit right back and I'll tell you, I'll spin you a tale. A tale. But first, the red card of the show. The red card of the show is the deuce of hearts. The deuce of hearts. Okay, so let's call this shadow cast. Cast was a thing, right? Yes, casting. We need a casting director. Fisher of Men. It's a boat. We need a casting director. Anyway, one of the shadow casts of the corner who's been I've seen and known at events, if I'm not mistaken, is one Robert Gray. And let's see, it's one of these tabs. Oh, before that, I gotta let everybody know we're under some kind of terrible spell. We're clearly the victims of a spiritual attack, because several members of the corner that would seemingly not be idiots have unfortunately made terrible spelling errors. For example, the one in Great Kale's Eldon, when he made this video here, released the gods of Set and Sell. But no, it's not. Let's see. You can do it like this. We can do it like not that. We can do it like this. It's sell like prison. Save show this. Kale, my friend, my man. It's sell like prison, not sell. Okay, but here's some of that in case you want it.
Did the corruption start? Right, and you know the flippant answer
in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, right.
What
right.
are you talking about?
Yeah.
When did it start?
Yeah. No. I get that. I get that. But I don't want to do that yet. I want to hold off on that because it lets us off the hook, I think, a little bit. You know, that we can just say, oh well, you know, stinks being us. You know, Adam and Eve are our parents, and you know, shrug.
No.
What do we do? So I know you don't do that. I you know, we live in, you know, if you try to sort of chunk the world in 50-year increments, right? Just as sort of a method to try to make sense out of periods of time, right? And we all know that these periods of time can shift and change, and 10 years ago.
Seasons.
Right. And like the last 10 years, of course, are going to be more prominent in our imaginations than, 1824 or, 1924, so I'm struggling, there have been novel developments, right, in the last, since, I always, in my head, I go back, to this sort of period of time, I call, other people call it, the mid-century. And for me, and I'm talking about the 20th century, and it's sort of roughly 1940, to roughly 1963. Or not, it's not roughly, that's like Kennedy's assassination. But if you want, you can go to, 1940 to 1970.
And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, he finally encapsulates what he's trying to say. Stay tuned. But I'm demonstrating to you that we're under a spell, a spiritual attack, or a spelling one. And the next example I have for you is on our friend, our Stephen Sainted view over there. This guy here. See, Grim Gris, he let out with an S in his title. What WTF, man? WTF. Here's part of that.
then all the better. So I'll do a reading from Richard, and we can see what he says and how it might have something to do with Grim Grizz's card pull and with his stream. So this is Richard of St. Victor. It's a tract on Psalm 28, verses 1 through 11. So it's not immediately going to be apparent to anyone what he's talking about, but if you read Psalm 28, 1 through 11, which won't take long, you'll immediately see what Richard is talking about 850 years ago in Paris. From that sacrifice there remains, as it were, the ashes of our thoughts. They should not perish from our memory, because the memory of one's presumptions is quite beneficial when a conscience is humbled and troubled at remembering them. But notice here that as long as we desire to handle our calf diligently and to break it to pieces according to the precepts of the law, then gradually we become further removed from it. It still remains at the end of our sermon to learn the difference between the cedars of Lebanon and the calves of Lebanon. By the calves of Lebanon, we understand the presumptions of arrogance, and by the cedars, we understand the haughtiness of pride. Arrogance.
Live in the Hive Mind chat, Stephen Saint has viewed. Let us know that the Deuce of Hearts, Saint of the card, is Venerable Bede. The Venerable Bede is the card of the Deuce, of the red card of the show. As the mind explores the symbol, it is led to ideas that lie beyond the grasp of reason. The wheel may lead our thoughts toward the concept of a divine sun, but at this point reason must admit its incompetence. Man is unable to define a divine being. When with all our intellectual limitations we call something divine, we have merely given it a name, which may be based on a creed, but never on factual evidence. Because there are innumerable things beyond the range of human understanding, we constantly use symbolic terms to represent concepts that we cannot define or fully comprehend. Hello! I see the assassins have failed. Hello, well, may they continue to do so, Grim. And now, we'll do the blue church card, and the long file, the long video file that I'm about to present to you, is from a channel called The Meditating Philosopher. And if you find somewhere on my channel, I clipped one of the times I trolled Vervaeke's patron questioners. And he's got some good ones in those, and I've made acquaintance. I think we were at. I think he was a Chino, that guy. And anyway, here's the blue church card of the show, the Four of Hearts. And anyway, so this fella, and now we have recently the Vervaeke is talking the Hermes thing, and he released this video this morning. This is from one Robert Gray, which he fascinatingly uses emoji of a tiger in the if you see it right over here, he uses the emoji of a tiger in his actual title. How has Taoist or Western spirituality been positive so far? A question of with John Vervaeke. Enjoy. How do we talk to the gods and invite them into our lives without being deluded or possessed?
Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again, and I'm excited to get to some of the questions.
Robert's question: now that you've done more alchemy and contemplative practices from traditions,
Thanks to Robert. Robert has been the person who has been teaching me spiritual alchemy, for which I am.
On behalf of the fraternal regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy, let's hear it for Robert.
Contemplative practices from traditions.
Thanks to Robert. thanks to Robert. Robert has been the person who has been teaching me spiritual alchemy, for which I am extremely grateful. This is Robert Gray.
To whom has been teaching me spiritual alchemy? What?
Who does so much good work with and for the VF, the Vervaeke Foundation. So just a moment to shine the spotlight on Robert. Glory to Robert. Okay, back to Robert's question.
Yeah, who also has a podcast called The Meditating Philosopher on YouTube.
Yes.
Encourage people to check that out as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be on it soon, I believe, with him and Eric again. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so his question is, okay, now that you've done more alchemy and contemplative practices from traditions other than Taoism, Stoicism, or Buddhism, Robert was wondering how they all compared and contrasted, especially related to ideas on ritual and active imagination from Corbin, Jung, Iamblichus, etc. And this is important, to make cross-cultural comparisons we might learn from in this era. And then, because Robert is a poet in and of himself, how do we talk to the gods and invite them into our lives without being deluded or possessed?
So I'm teaching Milton right now to the kids, Paradise Lost, and I was telling the kids yesterday that Milton went blind in the middle of his life. He was born normal, what have you, and I'm sure there's some sort of scientific explanation for why he lost his sight in the middle of his life, but the common, the sort of conventional wisdom or whatever, the sort of the myth is that he read himself blind. He was such an avid student, and read all throughout the night, and sort of a combination of maybe some pre-existing conditions and bad lighting that he blinded himself through the acquisition of knowledge that for him and for his group was all literate, right? That was the only knowledge, really. And so anyway, so he goes blind and has a big flame out in the sort of the political situation in England, and after he's sort of kicked out of public life because he rode the wrong horse, he escapes barely execution and kind of lives sort of in exile in England, and decides to write Paradise Lost. And so it's a cool story, unto itself. But so I was trying to get the kids, the thing that I tell them every day in class is, what do you see and what do you hear? Right? That's what a book is doing. A play is doing this. A poem is doing this. A novel, an epic poem. It's always,
What do you see and what do you hear?
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile. Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal, so say we all. Oh, look at that. Look, all these magic missiles. And Spoon Man whipping out the special members only. See, if you're a channel member, you can make special emojis, like the flame one that Spoon Man just made. And now, as I've recently highlighted to everyone's attention, we have an Abraxas cat infiltrating into the corner by the one Jonathan Dumier, snuck right under our radars. And there's a Abraxas cat within Orthodoxy is really the genesis of the Saint Gracie of the Gnoll Gnoll thing, because I recall a time when Jonathan Pageau got everybody worked up with the story of his Saint Christopher, the dog-headed guy. And in case you missed out on that, you can now have the opportunity to join in the symbolic world giveaway. We don't have enough people in the VIP room because they heard Grimgriz was there. So what we've done now, you see, is you could win. You could stand the chance. You could stand the chance to win copies of God's Dog Monster and God's Dog Warrior signed by one Jonathan Pageau. You have a chance to win all this. How to enter? Create a social media post about the summit, and then include the summit webpage, and then let us know. And then I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you in the Tarpon Springs, where I'm going to see the Grimgriz. And I should probably give him a signed copy of all my because he gave me the Promethea books and I never made videos about them. Maybe that. So I considered if the Abraxas cats can have Orthodox infiltrates sending to the summit, then also the conspiracy theorists can have Saint Grassy of the Gnoll of the dog-headed warriors, infiltrating the summit in the form of yours truly. And you can play along and make your own on your fancy AI slave bots with the text pasted above. Play along. Post it on the Twitter. Hashtag remember it.
This agency. We walk
Oh, and anyway, since I saw the Abraxas cats, I got fed this morning, which I think is the one from yesterday talking to the infiltrator Doomier about the tarot, the I Ching, the Antichrist, and the secret joy.
Enter too early, it's straight sacrilege. I mean, we're not in the garden anymore. You know, we have these garments of skin for a reason, and like, I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. Never mind. But you know, you can definitely go too far in like you're in transparency, generally speaking. And so it's a hard line to toe.
Yeah. Well, here we are, yo. It's like I'm hopefully, you know, hopefully it's not all a waste of time on my part. Yeah.
No, I definitely don't think so. I mean, everything has its purpose.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But you know what I'm saying? That's like I don't know. Hopefully, I haven't completely boarded my publicity or something. You know,
I know what you mean.
By you know, because I don't know. My plan was initially to, you know, really clarify what it is that I'm trying to say. You know, because Gal had made a point in that video. It's like, don't try and force the puzzle pieces to fit. You know, I think that's, or in his article, you know, grasping at the nature of reality. And it's kind of like I know the puzzle at a non-propositional way. You know, I don't know how to say it, man. It's so freaking hard. I'm just trying to. Hopefully, it doesn't make me out to be some delusion of grandeur maniac. But it's like if I actually was this innocent, you know, not to say sinless, but you know, innocent lad off at college, and all of a sudden God was like, here's a message, tell people, and I'm just completely out cold for 6 years. It's like, you know, it's like one might think that my abilities in this area, human interaction, intimacy, authentic relating, like these things might be a little difficult for me, considering that I like saw this, you know, I don't know. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to be sincere about, be true, you know, in my experience of this. It's like I'm doing, you Yeah, man, I really don't know what to say, but hopefully you kind of pick up on what I'm putting down. Where I, I really do think that the cosmogram tried to come through me prior to Galahad, and I just saw it from a slightly different angle. And I got.
Oh shoot, where was I going with this? Attention, attention.
Soul flight, as if they've gone to another world and they're flying through it. This is the origin. I mean, think of how we've come to this. But this is the origin of getting high. And the shaman does this. The shaman experiences themselves as if they're flying above the world. Why? Why would the brain generate that? Flying over things, getting an intuitive, insightful grasp, flying over things, getting an intuitive, insightful grasp. They go through this transformation. They often experience what's called soul flight, flying over things, getting an intuitive, insightful grasp. Well, think about this. The shaman is getting a much more comprehensive grasp of more complex upon 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 more complex upon. But they're experiencing it mostly intuitively and metaphorically. Where are you when you get a bigger picture of things? You're above them. How do we often explain this even to ourselves metaphorically? You have oversight. Somebody who is in charge of things has oversight, flying over things, getting an intuitive, insightful grasp, flying over things, getting an intuitive, insightful grasp. They go through this transformation. They often experience what's called soul flight, flying over things, getting an intuitive, insightful grasp. Where are you when you get a bigger picture of things? You're above them. Where are you when you get a bigger picture of things? You're above.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny.
We often explain this even to ourselves metaphorically, flying over things, getting an intuitive, insightful grasp. Those are metaphors. Those are metaphors that are little whispers, little echoes of shamanic flight, as if they've gone to another world and they're flying through it. This is the origin. I mean, think of how we've come to this. But this is the origin of getting high. That's a simple question.
Yes. So
the project that Robert is proposing, the cross-cultural investigation of what's going on between these different kinds of spiritual alchemy, one that comes out of, and I think it's fair to say, the Neoplatonic tradition in Europe, the spiritual alchemy that Robert is teaching me. And of course, I've done quite a bit of what you might call spiritual alchemy from within the Taoist framework. Those are the two that I have some comfort talking about because I've practiced them from the inside, but I've also reflected on them from the outside. The project of getting those, of doing what, I want to pause here. Part of what's going to be going on the philosophical Silk Road is to make people aware of the very good work that's being done on what's called cross-cultural and cross-historical philosophy. And Ethan has actually, in fact, gave me a book about this, recommended a book, I should say, about this. And so Robert is very aptly proposing a project of cross-cultural philosophy,
I'm
and
not
then
a cat.
perhaps something that can come out of that, which people aren't flying over things. The shaman experiences themselves as if they're flying above the world, but they're experiencing it mostly intuitively and metaphorically. See that? Oversight. You have oversight. Somebody who is in charge of things has oversight. Do you see that? Do you see that? Or has supervision. Super vision. Do you see that? Do you see that? Do you see that? Super vision of them. These are metaphors that are little whispers, little echoes of shamanic play. Flying over things. Flying over things. Getting one.
And fresh and hot from the hive mind, Slicarius is poetic, trying to street view my way to places I'll never be. I'll never be. Welcome, everybody. This is the Wake Churn Distillate stream, and here is the agency deck card of the show. Oh, look, a new ups. Three of diamonds, right in with this donation from Stephen. Stephen, right when the donation landed, bringing us to 87% of our goalpost moving Summit Griff goal. The three of diamonds came from the agency deck, but you don't pull saints from the agency deck, so maybe that's what Saint Grassy will have to be. It'll have to be Saint Grassy with the three of diamonds since it came from the agency deck. I don't know how any of this works.
So say we all. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ho, ho, ho.
Let's see, what else do we have? We have nothing else. We have nothing else. We have the Bukowski stream from the other day. Here.
The incidentals of one's individual existence. Truth is oblivion of the flesh, a pure nothingness to attain which one must sacrifice the world. In any event, the purpose behind these indefensibly broad pronouncements, however elliptically pursued, is to aid in recalling how shatteringly subversive Christianity was to so many of the certitudes of the world it entered, and how profoundly its exclusive fidelity to the God of Christ transformed that world. This is, of course, no more than we should expect, if we take the New Testament's paschal triumphalism to heart. Now is the judgment of this world. Now will the prince of this world be cast out. I have overcome the world. He is far above all principality and power and might and dominion, and all things are put under his feet.
And now, from Owlbear Rodeo, we find ourselves looking down on Langrish Theater. Langrish Theater between Wall Street and Gold Street, where three of the lobster monkeys have faced off with Grumpy, and the whole herd of taters is lying in wait. while Beholder is way over here facing Pride by her little self. We're gonna need to give her a bubble. You're gonna need to use your bubble there, Beholder. Welcome, everybody. This is the, what stream is this? This is the Saint Grassy Wake, Churn, and Distillate stream. Let's talk about Wake and Churn and Distillate. Okay, those are, Wake and Churn are things that the fleet makes. And someone brought up Peterson's Wake. And don't forget, Nietzsche said God is dead. Peterson said be ready for the funeral. Okay, and then special thanks to the Shadow Cabal. So say we all, and that's especially you guys, the ones that are getting us closer to our goalpost moving grift goal for our trip to Tarpon Springs, where we'll be representing St. Grassy in the symbolic World Summit. Christ, and oh, you just closed that. That's weird. What do you have open here? Well, you see, it's the IMDb for Jonathan Pageau, and his episode list from the only one from 2023 is AI Moloch and the Genie's Lamp. And let's see, we can probably grab that here and then shove it in the YouTube hole over here, over here. And then share this. There it is. Let's see what that was.
And it's really like it's like a horror movie scenario, right? It's like Lord of the Rings, really. And so Sauron is trying to build a body for himself. Like, he's not completely incarnate, but he's using all these people's desire for power in order to create a body for himself. That's pretty much what it looks like is happening with this AI, which is that we're all running towards a cliff. We all know we're running towards a cliff.
This is Jonathan Pageau. Welcome to the symbolic world.
Hence the Shadow Protocol. Soldiers of light fractaled out into the 5th generation of the theater of the night. Bakers and teachers, cooks and coders.
All right, let's go crash Chad's stream. I
preachers,
might come back up afterwards.
With ears to hear and eyes to see, walking between Sheol and the King. No sally and no retreat. No place to sit at the feet. In fact, there are no feet at which there is a seat.